Interesting. I've never thought about that. Welcome to another episode of Plugged In with ACDI Energy Services. I'm excited to be joined here today by Shawne Vaden with SPATCO Energy Solutions. Chances are you've seen the term 19.2 kilowatts thrown around in the EV charging industry. But does that really mean 19.2 kilowatts? Today we're going to dive into the nuances of EV charging power with a specific focus on the 19.2 kilowatt rating. Why don't we start by explaining what 19.2 kilowatts represents when it comes to the EV charging stations?
Okay, first, thank you for having me here today. It can be a little confusing because people compare gasoline cars to electric cars. KW, and we're talking about KW, we're talking about watts, just like a light bulb, 60 watt light bulb. So we're just using a lot more wattage on this. A good way to look at it is, let's say you're filling your car up and you know the size nozzle that you're filling your car up. So if you were to use one that was really tiny, you're not gonna get much gas in there. KW is basically the size, how much power we're pushing in there, what the car can handle.
Okay. What is the role of AC power and DC power in this process?
Another good analogy for this is, let's think about your power that you have on your wall. That's AC power that you're plugging into and everything's operating.
So like your standard wall outlet.
Exactly.
Okay.
So as you know, your phone charges has a battery in it, and the battery is charged actually by DC voltage.
Okay.
So when you think about that brick that you have to use that you plug into the wall, that's actually a converter that's making it from AC power to DC power.
Interesting.
So
it's charging, so like when you think about on the phone, on a wall charger, the power is charging the phone, or I'm sorry, the power is charging the box, which is then charging the phone.
It's converting it.
And converting.
So it's going from an AC current to a DC.
Okay,
current.
Interesting. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the factors that affect real charging speeds. Can all EVs accept 19.2 kilowatts of power?
Not all vehicles can accept a 19.2. But another thing to consider here, we'll turn back a little bit, is back on the analogy of the charging brick. So the cars have the built-in charging brick in them. You can see the size of the charging brick to your phone. So if that charging brick was built into your phone, it would be bigger, right? So the cars already have a converter in it. So it's actually converting AC to DC.
Okay.
So when we're talking about 19 kW, we're back on L2. We're talking about L2 charging. I know in your previous video that you were talking about the different types of chargers.
Yeah.
So the L2 charger is actually getting AC voltage from the wall to the car.
Okay.
And then your brick is actually built into the car.
Okay.
So you could see if you wanted to charge the car really fast, you'd have to have a huge brick.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have to charge the car really fast, you'd have to have a huge brick inside the car.
Yeah.
That's why the L3 chargers are the brick.
Okay.
Different then. So we're sending AC current to the car. It's getting converted to DC current. And that's why you're limited basically on size.
So just a question for you real quick. What's that charger called inside the charger?
Well, it's called an inverter.
Okay.
So we're inverting, we're rectifying, we're going from DC voltage or from AC voltage to DC voltage.
I gotcha. Okay, cool. What are some of the factors to consider when determining the maximum charging output?
Well, it would also consider what vehicles. So if you have a facility that's looking to install some chargers at the facility for their employees, you want to look at the kind of vehicles they have. Like most Teslas, like the Tesla Model 3 car, will not take 19.2 kW. You know, that car will only charge at 48 amps, which is about 10 kW, 10.5 kW. So even though you have a 19 kW, you can't fit the nozzle into the car. It's too large to do that. So it's important to match what the needs is for the facility or your home with the right charger.
That's right. So with home chargers, you want to make sure that you have a decent home charger, but you don't want to get too big of a home charger in your garage.
Yeah, that's correct. A lot of times you're not using 19 kW at home.
Yeah.
Because it requires a 100 amp circuit out of your panel, and a lot of homes are just 200 amps, so you wouldn't want to take up half the load just for charging the car, even though you're not charging all the time. So a good 10 kW, 12 kW charger would be great for home charging.
Yeah. Okay. And then whenever you get into other commercial or other businesses that need something a little bit quicker, but don't really need the full level 3 charger, they can get something, a 12 kilowatt or a 19.2 kilowatt.
Exactly. And keep in mind, even though the charger may be a 19.2 kW, the car will automatically adjust and only charge at what rate that it can take.
Okay.
So even though you're plugging a 19.2 kW charger into your car, it may only charge at 10 kW.
Yeah. So whenever it comes to optimal conditions for EV charging, what are some of the factors that play a role in maximizing charging speed?
One of the main factors is the state of charge.
Okay.
So you really want the car to be lower in state of charge than higher. So if you were to charge a car, let's say that you have 1% or 5%, and you're trying to charge the car to 80%, it's going to charge faster to doing that. But once it gets to 80% to 100%, it's going to take just as long. So the state of charge is one of the most important things. That's why we had to modify the way that we drive our vehicles today, our electric vehicles, other than our gasoline vehicles. Also, temperature makes a difference too. So if it's really hot outside or if it's really cold, that'll make a difference in how fast the car can charge.
Interesting. I've never thought about that. Before we wrap up, Shawne, why don't you go ahead and explain to us the importance for EV drivers to understand these factors and conditions that determine charging speed?
Okay, so setting expectations right. You know, you're not going to be able to run your car completely out, pull up there in 5 minutes and have your car charged. So proper route planning is important. Okay. And like I said, you want to run the vehicle down low on charge and then charge, instead of trying to charge it to 100%. Like I have an electric vehicle, I do not charge it to 100% every day. I have a 19.2 kW in my garage. My car will only take 12 kW from that charger, but I charge it to 80% every night. Okay. So it's super easy.
Do you set that on the vehicle?
Yes, okay. I have an app that I can set it on to just set my maximum charge to 80%. Awesome. Now, if I know I'm going to take a family trip like we did for holiday during Thanksgiving, I went ahead the night before and charge it to 100%, so I would be covered. But awesome. I think it's healthier on the battery to just do it to 80%.
Yeah, and I think they say in the industry, you know, try to keep it in between that 20 to 80, the 20-80 rule.
Right, right. So one of the things I want to talk about is, you know, with the analogy with the brick that we use, the charging brick, as you can see, there are different sizes. You know, like we see the little small ones charge our phone, and as you know, the bigger ones will charge the phone 5 watts, maybe a little faster. On the level 3 chargers, we're pushing straight DC current. So we can push up to 400 kW straight from the charger to the car, and that's how you get your fastest charging times. But you can also see that you couldn't carry around, that charger's 1,200 pounds, so you couldn't carry around that charger in your car. Yeah. So that's why you have the DC fast charging.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of output, 400 kilowatts.
400 kW. Most of the chargers that we're installing today are 240 kW. Down to 180 to 240 kW.
Awesome. Shawne, we really appreciate you joining us today and giving us the knowledge about what 19.2 kilowatts really means. We just really want to appreciate and shout out SPATCO for allowing Shawne to join us today. And be sure to check out the upcoming plugged-in videos that we'll have in the coming months. Shawne, any closing statements or anything?
I appreciate you having me here today, and I appreciate the partnership. As you know, we have work projects together as we specialize in the installation side of the business. SPATCO Energy Solutions covers from Texas all the way to Florida to the east, so we have like 39 branches of service technicians in those areas. But happy to be here. Come back anytime.
Thank you.